Bromley, a large town in Greater London, England. Less than 10 miles from Charing Cross Station, Bromley is an historic market town with a big pedestrian-only high street. Perfect for street entertainment. Back in April this year, I went to central London after hearing stories of buskers making £150 in just 1 hour. Only after my experience, I guess it must have just been hype talk, because I ended my day with just £40 after a full day of busking. And ever since then, I've been on a mission to busk in the Greater London suburbs to show my fellow buskers how much better it is even just 15 minutes out of Central. Well, now, my friends, they've actually banned busking in the very spot that I went to back in April, the one just outside Tate Modern. So it's now more than ever that the central London buskers should look to head to some of the places that are on the less trodden tracks. I headed to Bromley with hope to further prove my theory that the suburbs are really where it's at. Did I succeed? Was it worth it? Well, you'll just have to watch and find out. Here is how I got on busking in Bromley.
Yeah.
Good day to you. Welcome to Bromley, the London borough of Bromley. We're back on the suburbs of London again, and it feels good. I have been to Bromley a few times, right? But they were all for gigs with the band I used to be in, and all 3 gigs were awful. So I'm hoping Bromley can redeem itself today. I need to go through the rules with you because there actually are rules here, or guidance anyway, so let me do that. The rules for busking in Bromley. Bromley Council allows busking in the pedestrianised section of Bromley High Street. Happy days! Woo! Buskers are a part of the town centre community, and that includes market traders, promotional events, shops, businesses, residents and members of the public, and as such we expect that buskers respect and follow our code of conduct. Say the council. Before you do all that though, you have to complete a registration of interest form, and this can be found on the council's website. It just asks for a bunch of your personal data, your name, your address, phone, email, your artist name, what you do, a photo for some reason. On the address section, it does say Bromley address, but I put in my Brighton address and it worked just fine. So don't worry if you don't have a Bromley address. This form is supposedly so that the council know you have read and understood the buskers' code of conduct, which I will quickly go through with you now, so you can do the registration of interest form without having to read it yourself. You can thank me later, it's fine. It is a wordy one though, so I will try and condense it just to the relevant points. It says that busking is allowed on Bromley High Street between Elmfield Road and Market Square. They recommend 4 pitches along Bromley High Street. Area 1 outside Primark, Area 2 outside Marks and Spencer's, Area 3 outside Halifax, and Area 4 outside the Metro Bank. Buskers are always outside Metro Banks. Why are we always outside Metro Banks? Metro Banks and Primarks. They state to be aware of the regular markets that take place on the high street, making these pitches sometimes temporarily unavailable. If one of our officers or representatives asks you to cease playing, reduce the volume, or to move to a new location, please comply. They recommend introducing yourself to nearby businesses to make complaints less likely, and this bit essentially says do not block public access. You know, standard stuff. This bit is about respecting fellow performers and buskers, which I like. It's good to encourage a collaborative and friendly environment. Good on you, Bromley Council. If there isn't a suitable busking place, please wait for one to become free. If another performer is waiting for your pitch, please share it after and half an hour. Worded weird. This is great unless you've literally just arrived, but I'm sure you can negotiate with your fellow busker and explain that. You can accept donations, but the public must not feel obliged to pay. Last week I was in central London. I actually saw a busker tell a woman that she had to give him a donation after she'd just taken a photo of him. Maybe he had a license on his face or something. I don't know, shocking behaviour. From him, obviously. And this last part is about resolving problems and just being respectful and understanding. All very standard and easy to follow guidelines. I like that there isn't anything about time limit in pitches, and there's just a general emphasis on being respectful, kind and friendly. That's cool. It's really cool. So now you know all the rules. Let's get on with my day busking in Bromley. All right then. Bromley spot 1, outside Primark, the very top of the high street, or north, should I say. It's looking busy though, for a Tuesday. Spot number 1, I decided to set up in area 1 outside Primark.
To find peace and quiet.
Bromley Council aren't actually clear where outside Primark you should set up. So I went for where the high street splits in two, meaning I got the foot traffic from both streets as well as the street coming up. Seemed like a no-brainer to me.
Your savings are writing your bucket list.
This area is nice and open, meaning there's no real worries for being too loud for the nearby shops and businesses.
A universe from nothing inside my mind, it is on fire.
And things got off to a great start. Bromley High Street is supposedly over 800 years old, and there has been a market there for almost the same amount of time. I absolutely love playing in historic places. I always like to think about how many other street musicians across the ages have stood exactly where I'm stood and played music.
Your savings are writing your bucket list. Where did life go?
It kind of gives these places an energy, like we're meant to be there, continuing the legacy or something.
And the number of times that you said at this time you're for real.
Bromley slightly reminded me of Croydon. They're in a similar area and right next to each other, not far from one another at all. I'd say that Bromley is maybe a little bit smarter, a little bit more put together, but both have a clear love for street musicians.
This factory is not my home.
First observation of Bromley, right? Where I'm stood in this spot next to Primark. There's no sun. When I got here, it was 11 and the sun was just about to leave. Like there was just a shadow. So if you come in here in the winter or autumn, spring, probably not going to get the sun on you, which I genuinely think has an effect because people can't see you as well. They can hear you but can't see you. So I think for spot 2, I need to make sure I'm in the sun.
I genuinely think being seen is as important as being heard when it comes to busking, which is why having the sun shining on you, it is actually really important.
I
think it's something you should consider when picking a pitch. If people can't see where you are and they only notice once they've walked past you, I think they're less likely to come back and give you a donation or a smile or come and have a chat, throw a compliment your way. But regardless of playing in the shadows, the overall reaction I was getting was really positive. People in Bromley seem really friendly. After 2 hours and a bit of playing, I decided to round things off in this spot, and I found a nice little park to give you a little review.
I just sit here in my room, run about it in that book. I need somebody's coming to talk. I just wanna feel something.
So I just finished up in spot 1. It was good. Things kicked off straight away. A fire truck decided to pull up about halfway through. I don't know what for. They didn't stop or anything. They just drove into the high street, which is pedestrian only, and then just turned around and went back. So not sure what was going on. All round pretty good. Like, I made £49.33. Absolutely no taps on the card and no notes, but £49.33 is great. You're beating Watford already, Bromley. So south of the river all the way, I think. I'm gonna go and set up down the other end of the high street for spot 2, maybe outside Metro Bank. I've noticed that a lot of busking spots tend to be outside banks, eh? Like, the good spots always tend to be outside banks. I wonder if it's because, like, banks don't really need, you know, they don't have a window display, so you don't need to sort of worry about whether you're, I don't know. Why are busking spots always outside banks? I don't know, comment below, what do you reckon? Let's do Bromley spot 2. I think this is going to be a 2-spotter. I think I'll do like an hour and a half in spot 2. I did 2 hours in spot 1, so let's see how it goes. Okay, so we're not in front of Metro Bank. Instead, we're in front of Halifax. Tour of the banks. Tour of Primark and banks.
Well, I heard you crying loud.
Spot number 2. I'm always doing this hand, so spot number 2.
And it's me on the brow. Is you sit around feeling sorry for yourself.
After walking down the high street again, I realised that outside Metro Bank wasn't actually as busy as the middle section of the high street.
For the moments,
but because of the market stalls, there was limited space outside Area 2 or Marks and Spencer's. So I decided to go with Area 3 outside Halifax. Another bank. Surprise, surprise, buskers in front of banks.
When I come around,
and things again got off to a great start. People stopping to watch, kids having a dance off. That's my dance off. And a few people even stopping to have a chat, talking guitars, street music, singing. It was rad.
You know you're right. No time to search you all around.
I just love the connection that busking brings. Earlier this year, I made a video about talking to strangers and how I sometimes find it difficult. And now I find myself talking to strangers all the time, with no difficulty whatsoever. United together by music. And that's just one of the most beautiful things that comes through busking.
No time to search you all around. Cause she knew that I'd be found when I come around.
Bromley High Street really is ideal for street entertainment. Even on a Tuesday in October, it was really busy. Loads of foot traffic. And it's also big enough that if there were multiple buskers to show up on one day, I think you'd all get a pitch without having to disturb one another too much. Which is reassuring if you were to go on a weekend, which is when I can imagine most of the local buskers show up.
To listen to me one about nothing and everything all I was thinking.
The most satisfying thing about this spot, the fact that my water bottle has a little coaster that says water on it. Sometimes I give myself the creeps.
It's the little things that please you, especially when you're busking. It's the turn of an unlikely person's head who smiles when they hear you playing Free Falling by Tom Petty. Or the kid that just halts in their tracks and looks at you with pure amazement at what you're doing. Or just somebody throwing in a few coins to your case.
To a shrink, to analyze my dreams.
Knowing that you've brought on a reaction and given them something that's brightened their day just that little bit. It's so rad, it's so cool.
I was a fool, so quit my whining cause it's bringing them down.
After about an hour and a half, I decided to call it a day. When I busk, I tend to utilise the hours between 10:30 AM and 4 PM. that for me is optimal. But I think if I wanted to, I could definitely go on till later. And I know buskers who start way earlier, 8, 9 a.m. The beauty of busking is that it does tend to be flexible. You are a master of your own time as a busker, and it's just one of the many things I love about it.
Give myself the crease.
Okay, day is done. It is now 4 o'clock-ish. And yeah, done for the day. Bromley was cool. Cool place. And that high street is ideal for busking. It's the first high street I've been on for a while where I think if you had more than one busker, it would actually work. Because it's pretty big. It's pretty big space. It was a good vibe, really friendly, cool place. It had a lot of similarities to Croydon, including my total for the day, which makes sense because they're similar location wise. Spot 2, I ended up in the sort of middle bit outside Halifax, and yeah, it was good vibes. It was good all round. Don't like that you can't get in the sun if you're following the Bromley Council's guidance and going in the pitches they suggested. You don't get any sun in the autumn. You don't anyway in October. But I did well. It was £28 4p was the total. People here are really skeptical of the card machine. No one used the card machine, and there was also no notes. Just an observation, not a complaint. But yeah, it was a good day all round. I think it would be interesting to see how it would be on a weekend. It's up there in the London boroughs. It doesn't quite take the lead that Kingston has at the moment, which was well over 100 when we went there. But it was good. I'll rate it. I'd come again. Bromley! The high street might not get the sunshine, but it certainly brightened my vibe. Yeah? It can consider itself redeemed from those terrible gigs I played there with my whole band. I haven't given up on central London, not yet anyway, and I fully plan on revisiting and visiting other areas in the very centre of England's capital. But I do think it is well worth visiting the suburbs and not getting caught up in the hype of the well-known spots, particularly if the councils are shutting down some of the most significant busking pitches like the one outside Tate Modern. And instead of getting upset about it, I recommend just heading to places like Bromley, Croydon, Kingston upon Thames. You might just find they're actually better than central London. For busking anyway. Woo! Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, then click like, the thumb. Click the thumb and hit subscribe. I'm 50 subscribers away from 500 at the time of filming this. And if I'm over 500, then get me to 1,000. And if I'm over 1,000, then I don't know, 5,000, 10,000, 1 million, who knows? Who knows where this will go? I'm just gonna continue to put out valuable and the best quality content I can that hopefully is helping you out and giving you some entertainment. If you are a true fan, notifications on. I make videos, they come out every Monday, and maybe watch the one on the screen, maybe click on the channel and have a surf around. Maybe watch the Croydon or the Kingston video, especially if you're a central London busker. I will see you next week. Peace, love, happiness. See you later.